thank you for your patience. It was a good opportunity to start to relax. Now with your pencil, we're going to start to do a string. We're not doing the border like we do in typical basic Zentangle. Today we're going to start a string, and you can start on the left side and very gently with your pencil draw an arc shape and land somewhere on that right edge. Doesn't matter where, how far, doesn't matter where it is. And if you don't have a pencil and you only have a pen, you can use your pen, it's all right. And now we're going to double that up. Leaving a good amount of space in between, because of course something's going in there. But we don't need a lot of space, and it really doesn't matter. In Zentangle, nothing matters, as you all know. Okay, and that's our string, so we can put our pencils down. That's it for our string today. We're going to learn, we are going to do 4 patterns, believe it or not. So now we'll take our pen, and inside this, I'm going to call this like a bridge. We're going to start in the very, and you're just going to draw a spiral just like the pattern print on. And we're just going to go nice and slow and relaxed. And you don't have to reach the edges. If it reaches the edges, it's fine, but I'm going to try not to reach the edges today, but if it does, don't worry about it. It does not matter. And now what we're going to do is draw another one right next to it. Focusing on each stroke. Each stroke is deliberate and on purpose, and we go nice and slow. So once it touches the previous one, you can end there. And then you'll do another one. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep doing this all the way up to the end here. So you can put your music on if you have some music, hopefully you're in a nice quiet room. And if not, that's okay. You can just tune out whatever noise you hear and just focus on each stroke. That's all that matters right now. All you have to focus on is each stroke. Don't worry about what it looks like. That's just a waste of energy because it's going to look different later. You have no control over how it's going to look. Just focus on drawing these spirals one at a time, nice and slow and relaxed. And anytime that you finish before we move on to the next step, just relax. It's a meditation class. You can just close your eyes and wait till you hear my voice again. So now there's a couple more parts to this pattern. So wherever we see this little indent right here, we're going to go from this edge of the spiral to the next one, giving it a little bit of an arc shape and coloring that in. And you'll do that with each one. Give a little bit of an arc, or a straight line is fine too, whatever you prefer, doesn't matter. Zentangle should really be called It Doesn't Matter Mindful Drawing. And even when you color in, you can focus on each stroke, and a tip, an option is to draw in a little circular motion. Sometimes that coloring in makes it a little bit more solid and a little bit quicker. Not that we're looking to go fast, but sometimes coloring in can take a while. But this is just a small area. Enjoy the coloring. Notice how it feels in your hand, on the paper. Notice how the pen feels. And when you finish one side, we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. So you can either stay here and do it this way, or you can turn your tile to get a more comfortable position. There's never any right side up in Zentangle, and these are made to turn to get a comfortable position. Always be comfortable. Lighten up. If you're holding to your pen really tight, lighten that up. I tend to do that myself. Now I will be letting you know the names of these patterns, but for anyone who wants to know right now, and I will repeat it later, it's Snail, S-N-A-I-L, and I will repeat it later. So there is another part to this pattern. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to aura. And that's why I mentioned not to go all the way to the line, but it doesn't matter. If you did go all the way to the line, you could go over the line. That's why we do it in pencil. There's no, perfection. There's no rules to stay within the line that you drew. So now we're going to aura these arcs. And then we're going to kind of straighten it out when we come to the printemps area. And then when we get to that arc, we're just going to aura it. So aura is just outlining the same shape, nice and close. Just really focusing on the auraing, nice and slow, nice and tight, nice little aura. Although if you want a big aura, that's okay. There's no right or wrong. You might want to put something in that aura. Always follow your own artistic intuition. And you're going to do both sides. Now, why did my video go away? It's okay. And then you'll do this the same all around, and then you're going to do another one. And when I'm ready to do it, I'll let you know if you want to see how it's done. But basically, it's just auraing the aura. But right now, we're just going to stick to where we're at. Nice and relaxed. And now I'm going to start my second aura. And you notice there's that pencil line underneath, and we just pretend it's not there. The pencil line just gives us a boundary to help, a guide. It just helps us with that initial snail that we just made with the printemps. And the pencil that we put down for our strings is always just meant to be disappeared naturally. The videos, when I see you guys, it's very helpful to me to see if you are done and ready to move on. And it looks like many of you are ready to move on. So let's move on. Now we're going to work on this section right here. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is draw a line from one edge to another in that section. And we are not doing holly bow. I know some of you are thinking, oh, we're going to do holly bow. No, we're not. Because that's how we usually start holly bow. And once you get that line, let's turn our tile a little bit to get a different angle. And we're going to draw another line crossing over that and landing somewhere else. So it's kind of like an X, like an uneven X, but it doesn't have to look like an X. And then we're going to turn again and do another line crossing over that middle area and landing somewhere else. And as you can see, they don't have to be straight lines. They can if you want to, but sets up. That's all the lines we're going to do to set up this this pattern. Now what we're going to do is we're going to aura each line. So one by one. So this line we're only auraing to that center point. You turn your tile, and then you'll give that another aura just to that center point. Each line, just one aura each line. We're setting this up for the beginning part. This is just the first part of this pattern. Setting the foundation. And now we're going to put in a little ladybug, one on one side and one on the other side of each one of these bands, if you will. So we have, I'm going to do one on this side. Doesn't matter how big. One on each side, very much like crescent moon. If some of you, most of you probably know that pattern. Most people know that pattern. It's one of the first patterns most people learn in a Zentangle class, and we use it a lot. And the founders, Rick Roberts and Maria Thomas, they use it a lot from Zentangle.com. We're just doing one now on each side. And then when you're done, you're going to color those in just like we do in Crescent Moon. And if you have a thicker pen, like the graphic one is a very common thicker pen that we use in Zentangle, you can use that to color it if you want to. I'm going to stick with my Micron 01 that I'm using because they're pretty small and I like the feel of it. We have time. And another option is the 05 or 03 or 08, a little bit thicker than the 01. So if anybody joined us late, we're going nice and slow. This is a meditation drawing method, art form, and we go nice and slow. And there are times that I'm going to stop talking, and when it's quiet, you just listen to your nice relaxing music, or just, if you don't have any music going, just be quiet and focus on what you're doing. Let everything go out of your mind, and all that matters is this moment and what your pen is doing. And just let your pen do whatever it wants to do. Let go of what it looks like. Remembering to breathe and remembering to be really relaxed. And once you're done with that, already looks so cool, doesn't it? Now we're going to do just like a crescent moon. We're going to aura each one of these ladybugs. Focusing on each stroke, nice and relaxed, taking your time, breathing in and out. And guess what? We're going to keep doing this until this whole section is filled up. So we have a really nice long time now. We have a lot to do. I'm going to stop talking and you put your music on or just be in your meditation mode. If you're with somebody else, tell them to be quiet and leave you alone. Remember, you can turn your tile whenever you want. Now, if you want to be funky, if you want to do something a little bit different with this, because we have such a big area, if you want, you can add on another crescent moon or ladybug as you grow this. It's just an option. And if you have any other ideas, don't shut them out. Entertain them. Pay attention to what your inner artist is telling you to do. Zentangle is all about tapping into your own creativity. So the name of this pattern is, Ixorus. I'll just show you. I'm going to show you again at the end, but I just wanted to show you, if anybody's dying to know right now, that's what it is. Ixorus. Something like that. And if you're watching on Facebook, there's a lot of people now on Facebook. Feel free to do a watch party. Maybe there's other people you'd like to join in. It's always fun to do that. There's a feature on your Facebook page. Just click on watch party. I don't know too much about it. I just clicked it myself. I don't know if it's working or not, but I think it is. But don't let it ruin your Zen. Most importantly, just stay relaxed, focusing on each stroke. So if you're on today for the very first time, I know there might be some out there that have never done Zentangle before, and this is your very first time. Something to remember is there's no right or wrong. Everything's a suggestion. And we do it in black and white. A lot of people want to know, why is it just black and white? And it's because it's a meditation art form where we don't want to have to think about anything except drawing the pattern that we're drawing. And if we start to bring in color, we now have to think about what color should we use, and we're focusing on the outcome. With that said, there's nothing wrong with that. And in Zentangle, there's lots of color. Even the founders use color in their classes and tutorials, which they have all over YouTube. And they have a wonderful newsletter. Nothing wrong with color. But the reason why Zentangle was created in black and white was because it's a meditative art form, and we didn't want to have to think about anything except each stroke that we are drawing. And the patterns are meant to be repetitive. So, you know, the patterns are easy to learn patterns, and with step-by-step instruction, and it's about doing the same thing over and over, which is what we're doing right now. But if your inner artist is saying, oh, I really want to color this in, then do it, and it will look beautiful, and we want to see it. It's perfectly fine, more than fine. But when we start to shade, that brings in some color as well. It's so funny. I have my iPad up with the Facebook page so I can see how it's on Facebook, and it has a 20-second delay. So I look up and I can see myself drawing what I just drew. So it's kind of cool. So if you need a break, you know, we still have people finishing this up. And if you need to take a stretch break, a restroom break, get a drink of water, go right ahead and do that. And I won't start up again for a couple minutes. So you just feel free to do what you need to do. I highly recommend shaking out your wrists, moving your body a little bit, because we've been in a tight position for a while now, a good 40 minutes. All right, so we're going to do a combination of two patterns here. Lots of fun. The first one is, let's draw a little stem. It can be straight, curved, it really doesn't matter. I like to do like a very slightly curved line. I think if I had a nickel for every time I say that it doesn't matter, I'd be really wealthy. And now what we're going to do is give that a very thin aura, nice and thin aura, nice tight aura. And let's close them up at either side. Focus that a little bit better. And then a little bit above this, let's draw a circle, but go around that circle a little bit, giving it a nice outer layer so it has a nice white light in the middle. And then we're going to do that again, and we want it to touch. So all we're doing is we're drawing these circles with a little white light in the middle, and then eventually it's going to touch the stem, top of that stem. So this is Bronx cheers. Many of you know this pattern. It came from a mistake that Maria, co-founder of Zentangle, Maria Thomas, did. And she, I think she like spilled some ink or something, and they just had to kind of fix it on something she was drawing. And then this came out to be a very popular pattern. And I'll show you on here, Bronx, sorry, oh, I'm zoomed in, so that Bronx chair. And I will put the names of these patterns in the post on the Facebook page as well. All right, so now to do another one, here's what I'm suggesting. To do it kind of holly bow it, which means we draw a line and we imagine it's going underneath. We don't go over. We come around and we just do another one. I'm going to show you a different version of this in a moment. Right? So, right now, and you can just use this whole section to put in Bronx cheer. And what I'm suggesting also is fescu. Fescu, which is all it is. It's an arc, come around, and at the end, give it a kind of a little loop, teardrop, if you will, and then color that in. So fescu is really fun to draw. It's a great embellishment, and you can cross it over. Now, I looked at Debbie Murphy's tile the other day from the other class, and I loved what she did. So I'm going to show you. I told her I was going to steal it. And so she did something like this with her fescu, just kind of a little curly Q. So you can, whatever comes to mind, just do it. Now I'm going to show you a variation of this Bronx chair. So let's say maybe I'll come down here and do one. This is going to be one. And this variation, all it is orbs rather than the coloring in. And they can be all different sizes. Think of grapes. You know, the grapes come in all different colors, right? Green, red, dark red. So that's just another option with Bronx cheer. So have fun with this. Fill up this whole section. It's very organic pattern where it's just kind of free flow. It's just viney, organic type patterns. You can look what I'm doing with this stem. See how I'm just curving that? Because that's just what I felt like doing. I didn't really even think about it. That's just what I felt like drawing. So really let everything go so that your true artist can come through. And you're always free to do whatever you want. So maybe you are someone who've done, you know, many of you have been doing Zentangle for a while, and maybe you'd like to put in a different pattern here. You can do that. You can do whatever you want, and I can't wait to see what you do. So when you're done, please post a photo of what you did on the Facebook page if you're on Facebook, just in the comments section. But we still have shading to do today. And the shading doesn't take long. So we still have a few minutes to work on this. And at the end, I will open up for questions when I stop the recording, and when I take it off of Facebook, I will open up for comments and questions. And we'll also hold up our tiles and take a picture. And for those of you who don't know, there'll be another free class. I don't know if it'll be on Facebook or not. Again, if I only see 2 people who've made a comment. So we need at least, I would think, 10 people to make a comment on Facebook to make it worth, knowing that it's worth to stream live. Otherwise, you guys can just come on Zoom and join us. And it's on the website, rejuventangle.com. Everything's there, all the classes. We have Zen10 daily, free, 10 minutes a day on YouTube. If you go to the home page, or it's on this Facebook page too. Everything's on Facebook or the website. And if anybody on Facebook has a question, you can just write it in the comments. Also, if you're on Facebook, you can share any of the posts, the videos from today, or any post at all. Please do share on your Facebook page if you want to help spread the word. The fact that we do this on Zoom, anyone from all over the world can join us. All right, I think we're going to start to shade. So pick up your tortillon or your Q-tip. And I'm not gonna take the time out to unmute everyone so we can hear the tortillon toast, but I'm just gonna trust that you're gonna do it in your own privacy of your own home. I can watch people and I wanna see your lips move, okay? So I'm gonna count to 3. You all know what to do. 1, 2, 3, tortillon! I see you all, thank you, tortillon, okay. And everyone else sees each other if you went to gallery view. All right, so let's pick up our pencil. Keep your tortillon nearby. If you don't have a tortillon, get a Q-tip. And let's start with our Bronx, not Bronx chair, our snail. Snail. Okay, so for snail, I think we're just gonna go to the border here, and let's go the outer layer border. And just give it, but using the side of your pencil, let's lightly bring in some graphite. Doesn't have to be too neat. We're just putting some graphite down because we're going to smooth it out with our tortillon. But we're just going to do that outer layer. You can do that on both sides. When you do that, just take your tortillon in little circular motions, blend it in. So the pencil, the graphite, makes our tangles pop. It gives it a 3D look, it gives it some depth, it gives it drama, and it's fun to do. It's like the finishing touch, really changes the whole look. Already I love that, look at that, woohoo, I like that. I think what I'm going to do here too, put a little bit of graphite right in the middle of each one of these spirals. And then blend them in. And remember, you can always shade any way you want. There's many, many ways to shade every pattern. There's many ways to do every pattern, as you will all see when you post your photos in the Facebook posting. Okay. So now we'll go over to Ixorus. Ixorus. Maybe when we unmute, Trish can let me know if the correct pronunciation of this pattern. Maybe she knows. And Barbara, I think Barbara's on today. So let's see how we're going to shade this one. I'm just looking at the thing. Okay, I think for this, we're just going to go right along, just as if we're going to aura these lines that we drew in the beginning. Just give a little bit of graphite along those lines. And just as we drew those auras, we're just going to do one line at a time to that center point. So just right. And yeah, and you can actually do both sides if you like. So you can see I'm skipping over the ladybugs. You don't need to shade the ladybugs, obviously. But if it's easier, you can. Now watch this. I'm turning around and I'm using the tortillon to face that line. Rather than just jumping over and going like that, which is fine to do, but recently I learned this technique to face it towards the line, and I do feel it makes a difference. I don't always do it, but just to start with anyways. Now with these lines, what you can do is you can start to push it out a little bit with the graphite. So you blend it in and then you can kind of push it out just a little bit. And you just do that on all of the lines, one at a time. Now, if you find another area, it's like you see how these two connect right here. I'm gonna, with what's left on my tortillon, I'm just gonna dab a little bit right there. Wherever it looks like it's connecting or going underneath, you can add a little bit more. So the first Wednesday of every month, I do a free class just like this. Every class is always different. I also have other classes that have a small fee attached to them. the way I average the classes, it really, some of them are 8 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 weeks. It comes out to be $11 a class, just so you know. I mean, it's a good time. And if, so as I come up here this way, I'm going to do just like what I said, wherever they connect, I'm going to put a little bit of graphite down. Not all of them, just randomly, because then, you know, I get some on the tortillon and I can dab like right there, other places once I have some graphite on my tortillon. By the way, I created a little video today. It's silly. I like to be silly, and I don't really redo the videos over and over, however it comes out the first time. So they're very, very immature-ish. But I did one on the pouches, because recently I posted my totes and pouches on my website and Facebook, because they were meant for the crafts fair that got canceled because of COVID. So I thought, well, I'm going to put them up there if anybody wants to buy them. And I did a little video about what you can use for these pouches. So it was kind of fun to do. Now, as you see, and now what I'm doing is I'm taking what's left in my tortillon with these open orbs, and I'm just sporadically just dabbing a little bit, dabbing and also, you know, blending in just randomly some graphite on there. And I think also I'll put some on the beginning and the ends of each stem. I like that kind of shading, beginning and ends of each stem. And I'll do that with the Bronx chair as well. I'm just using, again, what's left of my tortillon. And maybe these little loops, I'll put a little graphite in there. And I'm going to dab a little graphite in the light parts of the, just whatever, wherever you feel you could use some graphite, you could just dab it, put it in. Now, one thing that we always do is we sign our artwork. So when you're done, make sure you sign it with your initials, your name, your chop, any way you want to designate your signature. Also, let's take some time now and turn around your tile. Notice that it looks so different. Look at that. That's a big difference. And let's say you decide to frame it or put it on your refrigerator or hang it up or put it in a sketchbook or a scrapbook. You can decide which way you want it to go. Because there's no right side up in Zentangle. Any way you want. And I think this particular one, usually I kind of, the OCD in me, which I'm not an OCD person, I don't think, but when it comes to the Zentangle tile, I always like to have the right side up the way I started. But today, I don't think so. I kind of like it either this way or that way. I kind of like that. So we can decide. And I'm gonna turn off the recording and then open up for questions.